World Captive Media, we're back, and I have here with my friend, actually one of my oldest friends. It's the first person I made YouTube videos with, the guy who does the incredible music here on this channel, the man who can drum like no other, my old boy, Landon. And Zane's here.
Hey, what's going on?
I'd turn that up for future use, but... oh, okay. All right. Well, anyway, guys, today we're reviewing Juno. Juno is about a teenage girl named Juno McGuff who has an unplanned pregnancy at 16 and decides to have the baby and give it up for adoption. With an all-star cast and an incredibly quippy, smart script, Juno was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. Best Achievement in Directing for Jason Reitman, Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in Ellen, now Elliot Page, Best Picture, and even secured an actual win for Best Writing for Diablo Cody, whose career exploded from that success. This is one of those movies that was heavily spoofed in the period that it was made, and it had such a large pop cultural influence over all the youths and even the adults of the period. So get ready, put up your hamburger phone, crack open a nice bottle of Sunny D, and let's take a trip to 2007, bitch. Guys, Juno. Juno is so lovely. Like, we'll get into why in the spoiler section, but I just want to say, like, regardless of your opinions of whether this is a good movie or a bad movie, at least its intentions are always kind of pure in a way, in the sense that it is absolutely a character-driven story about great characters, about interesting people that, even though they're kitschy and the dialogue is ridiculous, they're incredibly real and earnest. So with that, like, you have to give that to Juno, whether you like it or not. The fact that it has great characters. So for me, Juno is like a solid 7.5 out of 10 in the sense of its entertainment level and also its historical significance to my life because of someone special here right now. But it's just been a great movie for me. So it's 7.5 for me. Zane, what would you give it?
So I do feel like there was a lot of stuff that I did find myself really enjoying in this. It's really interesting the way that they go through and kind of develop each of the characters. I had a good time while I was watching it. I don't really have any, like, not many bad takes on it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 as well.
All right, I'm going to wait on Landon for 2 reasons. One, I feel like Landon, this is a movie very important to him, so I want to do him last. But we actually have a guest that's not on screen right now, and that is my lady, Franny, just because, the way things are set up and, her planning on doing this last second. She's off camera right now. Franny, in so many words, what is your spoiler-free review of Juno, and what do you give it on, like, a scale from 1 to 10?
Yeah, so I thought I'd watch this movie before, and I either was too young to really understand it, or just thought it was like a comedy. Like, I remembered it being like a comedy, but it's not a comedy. It's a really fucking good movie.
I feel like it slips a lot of people's minds because of how Epic Movies spoofed it, and a bunch of movies of the period spoofed it and made it seem kind of goofy. SNL,
but it's not
just
goofy.
Yeah, it's just about a bunch of hipster teenagers drinking
movie.
Sunny D and fucking each other. That's not Juno.
No,
Juno is much better than that. So what would you give it on a number scale?
Like a 9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. Holy shit!
I really.
That's why you were so desperate to get on the microphone. You're like, listen, Juno's fucking good. Okay.
Right.
And I heard you guys reviewing a different movie. I won't say what that is depending on when this comes out. But we were arguing then, and I feel like she just wanted to come in and just slam down her big old Juno opinion.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's.
Well, I also wanted to make sure you guys had good takes.
Thank you, Franny. We appreciate it.
No problem.
We appreciate that. All right, Landon. Juno in so many words. Remember, non-spoilers. We'll get into specifics later. But what does Juno mean to you?
Oh, Juno, it's just one of my favorite movies.
One of your favorite movies.
Yeah, I think it just I don't know. It just really spoke to me at a time in my adolescence, and I don't know. It was just like I was so inside the story.
Yeah, we saw it together.
Yeah, it was the first movie. It was the first movie Logan and I ever saw together.
Yeah,
and we were like,
and I'm a bit of a cinephile.
Let's go to the movies, man. Let's go to the movies for the first time together, like by ourselves without our parents.
Naked. No, I'm just kidding. You're making it sound very strange. But no, I watched a lot of movies, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna take Landon to a movie, and I've heard Juno's good, and he's an open-minded guy, and we saw it. And you cried at the theater when we saw it too, which is awesome. I love when that kind of a response comes out of a movie.
No, I thought it was a beautiful movie. I thought it was a beautiful movie because it was just really relevant.
Yeah,
relevant at the time.
It was the pop culture at the time. I mean, everybody was talking about Juno, and the way kids talked in the movie was very accurate to the period. All right, cool. What would you give it on a number scale? 9.5.
Yeah, I'm with Franny.
So we got 7.5 and 9.5.
If not higher.
If not higher. Well, just if you feel higher about it, dude. This is your scale.
I give it like a 9.7.
Hit that share button, baby. We endorse it. Guys, we're going to get into more specifically why he feels that way, as well as some of the spoilers in the movie, and maybe a game a little bit later, too. We'll have to see. But we'll be right back with that. Go check it out. And folks, we're back to talk about more Juno. I don't know if you just watched it, if you just skipped ahead to this part, but welcome back either way. Landon, now, we picked this video because you were in town and this movie has such significance to our past, but you were telling me something super interesting that you felt that people took from Juno and didn't give credit to. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Well, I think sometimes what I find whenever I talk about to people, what kind of movies you liked, Juno always comes up, and I always get the responses that they thought it was just a stupid story about just a girl who got pregnant, and that's the whole story. But I find Juno to be a very deep and interesting character in the sense that she is one, just really smart in her own way. So she is most people would think is that she's just a smart ass. Mm-hmm. Well, she's a smart ass, and part of that smart assiness is excuse me, someone spit
actual intellect.
Yeah. Well, she said she's
very smart.
Yeah, but she had unprotected sex at 16. So it's just you have this. You see, part of the movie is you have this girl who seems to just be so far beyond her years, yet can't seem to resist the urge to have sex with See, the problem is not the fact that she had sex with Bleecker. It's that she's really smart, but still did it anyway, regardless. So it's there's sort of this mystic cynicism that some people in that certain age group tend to represent.
Yeah. I do want to say, to elaborate on your point, the movie itself even categorizes and displays that there is a difference between actual intelligence and wisdom, right? Because Juno is by no means a dumb character. She's an incredibly smart, very quippy, very selfless person. In the fact that she's even having this baby given the circumstances, right? Just somebody who, in a lot of ways, is very admirable. And then, but on the flip of that, she almost fucks Jason Bateman's character and doesn't even realize it in the sense that she nearly falls for his romancing of her and starts to fall to liking him. And then once reality hits her, she realizes, well, maybe life isn't all just about being smarter and quippier than the next person. I think that there is an element of that orchestrates to you Juno isn't about a dumb teenage girl. It's about a smart teenage girl, because this kind of thing can happen to anybody.
Who made a mistake.
Yeah, and a mistake can happen to any person.
And that's one of the things that I actually really find myself kind of falling in love with this movie, because there was times where the quippiness, the intelligence of some of these teens, you're almost kids are they're giving a lot of credit to teenagers.
But we were smart teenagers like that.
And but then there are also those moments where on the track or whatever, where he's like, oh dude, you should grow a mustache, and he's like, I can't, and he's like, me too. And it's I felt that or she's having a baby our mom and our teachers, those things where it's the Vanessa is at the mall when they meet her there, and she's like, oh yeah, I was just hanging out with my girlfriends, and the friend goes you're gay? And I'm that's exactly some shit that a teenager would just
Diablo Cody really nails the dialogue, and and when you think about it in this spectrum too, like it's not even just the dialogue that she nailed. It's also like she nailed the idea of a 16-year-old who acts like they're an adult and is smart like one, but just cannot avoid those kid isms, you know? Like she's her room, the only phone she has access to is a fucking hamburger she's
and I think that's the dichotomy that I love.
Yeah,
is the fact that they spend a whole bunch of time showing how intelligent she is, but then she's still a kid.
Or the relationship between her and her stepmother. You know, it's not necessarily that they hate each other, but it's just the fact that Juno's stepmother is her stepmother, and Juno is Juno.
Yeah, so, they have their own person. She calls her a dumbass step kid, but says my kid, and is very defensive of her and supportive of her, while at the same time being like, you're fucking stupid shit. And it's like she's not entirely wrong. So this did happen. I mean, but it's a mistake.
I loved that relationship between them too, and I feel like I kind of have a fairly similar vein. I've got step parents as well, and I do know that there was plenty of times like when we were growing up, you'd come over and me and my stepdad used to butt heads a lot. And there was sometimes that stuff. But as I've gotten older, as I've seen more stuff, I've realized he was actually going up to bat for me quite a lot.
There's a difference between intellect and maturity.
Yeah. And it's like getting to kind of see that growth. It warmed my heart a little bit because there were times where like when they initially started it off and they were like she's vomiting in the urn or whatever because like they dislike each other, but then you kind of watch as Juno sees her go up to bat for her and like you get to watch that relationship grow, and I did find myself really enjoying that little character arc for the step parent.
She took on a lot of responsibility real fast.
Yeah.
And I think during her, growing up phase is that she was very independent. And I think one of the interesting things about her growth as a character is realizing that it's okay not to be independent. It's okay to lean on others.
Exactly. Yeah. That's because, a huge part of it. Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of us have seen the way parents can be, upset with kids for getting pregnant. And although her parents weren't happy, they didn't, disown her or, give her, even more grief. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's really something that definitely happens.
They handled it pretty well.
It's a masterclass in how to deal with the situation. It's not like she's into drugs. It's not like she's doing heroin or whatever. She made a mistake with a kid who, for the most part is harmless. And
what plays into that too is like, you think about what Juno did culturally as a whole, like how many people Juno reached. Because even if you haven't seen the movie, you've heard of the movie. Everyone's heard of Juno. And teen pregnancy, especially the idea of that blew up so much after that. And I want you to get into how in a second. But I do think that it's cool that this movie was almost like hey, we're going to give you a lesson on how to deal with the real problem of teen pregnancy as an adult. We're going to tell you how you should deal with your kids if they get pregnant. You should be obviously, stern with them in the sense that you're like, okay, you made a mistake, but you shouldn't disown, disrespect. Like you should find a way to figure out what they want to do about this problem and how to help guide them through it. Trust me, nowhere in Juno's mind thought having a baby seemed like a lot of fun. I think I'm going to do it again right away. Yeah. She learned her lesson, you dumb fuck. She's pregnant. But so many people out there with kids who get pregnant, they throw on this scolding, this angry idea like, dude, the deed's been done. They're pregnant. Trust me, that's punishment enough. Like, they're social pariahs now. If anything, where's the hate for Bleecker, that fucking pussy bitch? Listen, I like Bleecker fine at the end of it, but why is he such a bitch the whole time? Why can't he fucking...
Because Juno took on the weight. She took on the weight. She was the...
So selflessly.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was saying when we were watching the movie, I was like, you know what, Bleecker? Like, she is letting you have a childhood still. She is allowing you to be a kid. She's the one fronting the bill. She's the one having to go through being pregnant.
And she's doing it all with a hamburger phone.
I just love
and a pregnant belly, dog.
I just love the way that Diablo Cody writes like female characters. Like, Juno's not the kind of female that you normally see as a lead in something like this. And like even though they didn't make her like dress like classically pretty or like classically feminine, they still didn't like not write her as beautiful.
And like, make no mistake, now Ellen Page at the time, is an incredible performer. Deserved that acting nomination, and like, man, like Juno is so real in this movie, and it's because of that performance. But you also have to give credit to, like, okay, she has this great performance and everything, but what makes it feel more real? The fact that the dialogue sounds like it was ripped from a YouTube video in 2006 of real people talking. You know, like all the dorky and cringiness about this movie that you kind of like want to turn away from right now. Bitch, you used to say totes awesome and shit like that. You can shut the fuck up, whoever has a problem with it. And I think you're right. The way Diablo Cody writes those characters is just so current to the period. And she writes especially female characters in a way.
She writes them strong.
And relatable. I understood who Juno was, and sometimes I have a struggle, obviously, having the male gaze of life. Right. When I watch a female character, occasionally, if it's not written well, I have an issue relating, right? Just like anybody else with somebody that they aren't like. So when Diablo Cody writes such real human characters, and you can relate to whoever, no matter their creed, situation in life, religion, whatever, you can always relate because of that great writing. So, yeah, I agree with you. Diablo Cody is the reason why this movie's so amazing.
In talking about that great writing, I wanted to just kind of piggyback off that point.
Yeah, go ahead. Then you have to talk about the thing. I mean, you have to. Because I didn't even think about it, and you're fucking right. But anyway, go ahead and say.
So, I love... also, like, how she writes Bleecker, because when me and producer Lacey were watching this together, we were going through, and she was talking about, like, how strong Juno was about not just, like, losing her mind, getting ready to have a baby, because, like, producer Lacey was like, I don't know what the fuck I would do. But in those points where, like, Juno's trying to make sure that Bleecker can still be happy, even though she no longer sees herself as a viable option because she's pregnant.
Or even as a kid.
Yeah, and she's starts talking to Bleecker, and she's like, oh, you should try dating this one girl, even though she's in love with him.
And she smelled like soup, too.
Yeah, and it's this thing where Bleeker's like, oh, but I don't like her, but the girl that I like is telling me that I need to move on and like try for somebody else. So then he does it, and obviously that's like, we all as grown adults know that's not the right fucking move. Like, you shouldn't have just listened to her. But
you want my
he's
opinion?
A dumb kid, and he was like, oh, I was supposed to.
I think that's giving. Okay. I think that's giving a little bit of credit to. Like, I'm not saying Bleeker's a bad character or a bad person. I think that's giving him a little more extra credit.
Agreed.
Being like, because ultimately he also did that because he wanted Juno, and Juno didn't want him. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, fine, I'll move on. He knew what he was doing a little bit. You know what I mean? He wanted her back because they clearly were fucking head over heels for each other.
But also, we've all been a dumb kid before.
Yeah, no, I'm not judging Bleecker. Bleeker's a child. Yeah. I'm just saying.
When we're told, like, oh, I think
he knew what he was doing.
This person.
I think to a certain extent.
By the time you're 16, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing a little bit.
You're going to risk having
Now, you said something super interesting, too, and when we were watching the movie the other day. And it had to do with when like he invited her to go to a thing, like, and she was talking about how she had to go to like her special appointment, and you had this outburst that made me cry laughing, where the kid's like, all right, I'll save you see the thing, and Landon just screams out, she's not going to your fucking thing, dude, she's pregnant.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just thought that was so funny.
I was like, dumbass, like, come on, man, like, she has to go to an ultrasound, she has to go like do these things, like, you don't have to go to fucking Benihana, you selfish bastard.
Franny, from the female perspective in the room, you're in the room, they just can't see you.
Yeah.
But from the female perspective, how do you feel about the Bleecker-Juno relationship?
I mean, I agree with everything that people have been saying. Like, she kind of just takes care of him because she's a caretaker, and she's somebody who grew up really fast.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, that takes a strong person to do.
Definitely.
It's crazy.
But Bleeker's a bitch, right? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, yeah, definitely. But he's also young. He's still learning.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. We're just joking. We no Bleecker hate, guys. Be nice to Bleecker. Not Michael Cera. No, I'm just kidding. He's fine.
Vanessa's husband was a piece of shit.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But dude, the thing, you have to say this thing. You know what I've been trying to get you to say.
Set it up.
All right, so there's a certain art style at the beginning of the film, because she's walking around with Sunny D, trying to take multiple pregnancy tests. Also, Rainn Wilson, you're fucking hilarious in this movie. I love you in this movie. Such a short role, but so good. Anyway, you know that one song that and you have all that like drawn on notebook style animation. That was like, yes, it had been done maybe in the past, but not in the context of a pregnant teenager or, you know, that like happy-go-lucky vibe mixed with kind of the somber idea of being pregnant at 16. Landon made a good point to me about 16 and Pregnant.
16 and Pregnant took Juno and dissected it and took what made it special and glorified getting pregnant in 16.
Like, kind of, though. And I know that's a hot take, but...
It's not a hot take. It's what happened.
Okay. But, like, even down to the notebook drawings, the way they would write at the beginning, like, write Teen Mom in the notebook at the beginning with the happy-go-lucky music and everything. It is a carbon copy idea. It's just a reality show, Juno. And I think that's curious. I wonder if that was what they talked about when making it. It's like, it's a ripoff, like, straight up.
Well, I mean, I think it's just like one of those things is that they took this idea of it's like they watched the first 2 minutes of the movie and they were like, wow, this movie is great, we're gonna take this idea and put it into a show. Now
kids are getting pregnant all the time.
Well, no,
just
so like
remove the
16 and
heart.
Pregnant, it's like all these kids got pregnant at the same time, all within the same area, and they're like, oh well, like Juno was the inspiration for this, show. Juno, like, it was absolutely the inspiration for this show, and you can tell because of the art style.
It's like the same. You're right. It's very
just
similar.
like it's just like Dragon Ball Evolution and Dragon Ball Z. I mean, it's
not those are not the same.
But
those
different
are
scales.
not the same. Quite literally,
different scales. Like one's more extreme than the other, but 16 and Pregnant. It's just a stupid show, dude.
So I feel like 16 and Pregnant took everything that made Juno special, the heart of a girl trying to live in the world and figure out where her place is while being a teenager who is pregnant. And then they just threw all the heart away and they were like, hey, you guys are going to be stars. You're going to be on TV. This mistake doesn't matter.
And now Farrah Abraham sells molds of her butthole online, and good for
and
her.
Like, has entirely fucked up that kid.
That's
so sad.
You know what? You're probably right about that, but I don't know for
Put
sure.
her life on social media right away. Her whole life. That's so sad.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Listen, this isn't a commentary on 16 and Pregnant. I just thought that was so interesting.
We've literally watched experiments in this country go from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means like 16 and Pregnant, like with MTV, like 16 and Pregnant basically was like an experiment.
Trying to see how somebody's life would be if they did something crazy, like become pregnant at a very young age, glorify it, and then take them almost out of the real world. And then as soon as the cameras go off, unless they have a continued presence, they just have to go back to normal life, which they have not experienced normal life up to this point.
Yeah.
So like that is, and now you've got the mom who's now the porn star, which like absolutely like sex work is some of the hardest work, but like it's still like she got like dragged into this world that she probably wasn't ready for. They're 16. They're not even old enough to like drink or smoke or do anything. And then you're going to put them on like this grand stage.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite literally like if the show's idea was to like homage to Juno, you've literally missed the point. And if it wasn't, then you've stolen from it. So either way, it's not good.
Stolen from it.
Yeah, but even if it was like an homage, right? Like even if they went in like, let's make a Juno reality show, like that was the conversation, you still didn't do anything good. Anyway, yeah. So let me pose a question to you guys real fast. This is kind of a dumber question, but I'm interested in your answer. Do you think that you would murder Jason Bateman's character if you didn't get in trouble for it? Because fuck that guy.
Yeah. So that
he
was
sucked.
Are you kidding me, bro?
He sucked.
Juno, you're so cool. You'll be good with me leaving Vanessa, right?
It's insane, dude.
And he
Insane.
literally
I listen
like
to the White Stripes. I mean,
I'm
Sonic
so glad
Youth.
that Juno
Same
still
thing.
gave the baby to
Like, shut
Vanessa.
up, dude. Like,
it.
hey, but seriously, his work as a composer is badass.
Whose work as a composer?
In the movie, he did a jingle and it bought him a freaking kitchen.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I wish I could do that.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong, but he's still a monster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's still super fucked up.
And his taste in horror movies actually sucks, by the way.
It sucks.
Just letting you know.
That was one of those things that like as soon as because like at first even I was like oh, Jason Bateman's character, he's just like he's cool. And then when he said, oh, Vanessa's not here, we're good, I instantly was like, oh fuck,
I knew
this
something was
is no
wrong.
longer the situation that I thought it was.
I knew something was wrong pretty early when I first saw it, and it's the moment on the couch when they're sitting on the couch and they're talking about like, oh, you want to be a mom, and he's like, you want to be a dad? He's like, yeah, whole 10 miles. Like, if you really want to be a dad, you're like, fuck yeah, I want to be a dad. But he
And
just
that's-
didn't.
I get having cold feet about being a dad. Like I hope to be a dad someday.
He didn't
but
have
it's
cold
still-
feet. He walked out at the
Yeah,
last
no, and
second.
that's at the beginning they were just fucking like bringing it like cold feet, but as time goes on, they do a great job of developing that kind of like this is not the guy that you thought he was.
I got a
and
question
it's-
for you guys.
Yeah,
Go ahead, man.
You got a question for you guys. Okay. You think Jason Bateman's character was gonna take advantage of Juno?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
and that's
100%.
the fact that he was like mumbling to himself, "God, you're so young." That's where I was like, he's a monster.
Or when he
So
told
to
me, he's
an-
like, I thought you'd be cool with this.
yeah,
yeah.
that's great.
Like, what do you think? She's giving you her baby, you dumb bitch. Like, what do you think she was gonna be cool with, bro? That's
And he
crazy.
like, took advantage of her clear daddy issues.
He did. He definitely did. And the thing is, her daddy issues like aren't really even really daddy issues. They're more abandonment issues from her mother, right? Like that's what it
Just
really
like
boils
all
down
of her
to.
issues in general.
I was gonna say
Also,
because her dad was great.
I love how they shit on Juno's mother without explanation in this movie.
Me
I think
too.
that's a good thing because not everybody's situation in their lives is like they're cool with parents on whatever. It was cool to be like this person doesn't even communicate with their mother and has like this full family in life. I thought that was a cool idea.
yeah.
Um,
And that's
yeah.
I love the adult characters in this because they never treat Juno like she's dumb. Like they're like she's made a mistake, but I'm still able to talk to her like a normal human being. They didn't like instantly like, oh, but you don't understand because you're dumb. One of those things that sometimes a lot of the time can happen, and it was just something that I really enjoyed. The fact that they still like the different scenes where she would come home and she's like, what's the worst case scenario? I'm already pregnant. And her dad, like, you could tell that he was a little upset about it, but then he would have these little switches where he's like, no, you're still my daughter. You still are intelligent. I don't hold this against you. And I think that they did a great job of kind of like allowing everybody to make mistakes, but still grow.
They didn't ostracize her.
Exactly.
I did like the scene though where J.K. Simmons was like, "I didn't know you were that kind of girl, Junebug," and she's like, "I don't know what kind of girl I am." I was like, "Oh, that's a good comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good response for a
Well,
16-year-old dude."
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like obviously they talk about, having safe sex. Like it obviously in that community is like a thing. Because no one's freaking out about it really. It's not like unheard of, It's not like people getting pregnant has always been a thing, but it just so happens that someone who's like unlikely to get pregnant gets pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is like, if you're, as they put it in the film, sexually active, like you don't really, there's always that chance, right? I mean, I don't know, but like, you know what? Let me pose a question for you guys. We keep talking about everything we love about this movie. I want you guys to tell me some shit that didn't age so well for you, some things you didn't like about the movie, because as much as we love it, we do got to come with some criticisms here.
Honest to
What-
blog?
Yeah.
Honest to blog?
Honest to blog, brother.
Honest to blog?
Is that it?
Yeah, honest to blog.
That's the thing- that's
that
your
was
one
one of
thing?
them. No, there's multiple things like telling someone to silencio. No, I just tell people to shut up.
I give my coup de grace of poop moment, my this is the shittiest part of this movie award, to the abortion clinic scene.
Oh yeah. Oh hey,
the condoms are I'm so edgy and liberal. I like abortions.
Well,
are you kidding me with this? Enough with that.
Scores, and we need to keep track of all scores and sores.
Yeah, terrible. All scores and
It's
sores.
just shut up.
And like, don't get me wrong, Diablo Cody's funny for writing that period, right? But holy shit, bro.
The unspoken villain is the girl outside of the
fingernails.
Fingernail lady.
Fingernails.
Yeah, fingernails.
Unspoken villain.
Unspoken villain. Yeah,
she came off like a villain to me right away.
Oh, yeah, she's like.
I'm like, she's the fucking catalyst of this whole movie.
She's the one person.
You suck if you're getting an abortion. This is what she was basically saying.
Hopefully nobody cuts that.
Yeah, no one clip that, please. No one clip that. He said you're
just a white man on a couch.
You know what? This is my fault. I thought we could leave it at clinic and make fun of the dialogue. We're getting into this because of me. Honestly, this is my bad. Zane, what do you not like about the movie?
So probably one of the things that I would have to hold against the movie would just be. Fuck! I tried to run into it, and I didn't have the fully formed thought. No,
Franny, what did you not like about the movie? You can try again later.
Oh my god, that's actually really, really hard. That's a hard one.
Come on, you're watching the movie. You don't like a character choice that's made, a piece of dialogue that's given, a message sent. A lot of people dislike the fact that at the end of the day, she ends up not getting an abortion for the reasons in the film. But I
don't
think
dislike that though, because
you have to understand how hard that decision is, right?
That's so hard.
Yeah,
She's
so I don't like that
16.
criticism,
especially
of it.
at the time. At the time,
too.
It wasn't like something that you can just kind of openly talk about.
Right.
Yeah, like we're talking about over
Like,
fucking.
okay, she didn't get
over-
frowned.
And she already doesn't have a mom, so like she's
It's already frowned
probably
upon.
not been like talked to about that. Not good role models.
Yeah, I mean, we're
for
talking
her.
about like 15 years
It's
ago,
frowned-
right?
I
Isn't that when
know.
this movie
upon.
came out? I mean, we're talking about a different period in
Okay,
time.
Right.
she didn't get the abortion, or she got pregnant, and no one's really frowning upon her on that. But like getting an abortion, like it's Salem witch trials.
People are definitely frowning on her for that. Remember Bleeker's mom raced her up the stairs like in fucking... I can't think of a good race. Like that scene at the end of the Justice League where Superman raced the Flash and they ran all stupid.
Yeah.
They both ran as equally stupid in that scene. But my point being, people definitely judged her for it.
Yeah.
I feel like that was definitely there. But an abortion would have been like next level. They would have been like, let's just
Yep.
burn Juno.
Yep.
So one of the things that
Oh, we're back onto the not liking. Okay, Zane, try number
Sorry,
two.
yeah, no.
Do I have
so
a planchette
I
to
do-
click? Take two.
I do have a criticism. The constant eating to to show that she's going further into pregnancy, we're just making her eat more. And it's like I fucking known pregnant women, and yeah, absolutely. You can. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that you
Zane,
can't get
let's
hungry
speak for pregnant
but
women.
They almost
What I love is like, I don't like how fat these pregnant bitches
No.
are.
no.
That's
it's-
exactly what you're telling me right now, dude. Be more. Let's break down what he's
I'm
saying.
trying to be-
Let's give him a chance to finish what he has to say.
Zane's wife is over here just like staring daggers.
Producer Lacey is
No.
like, maybe Franny will be on camera soon.
They
Because
make
Zane's
that-
gonna be fucking dead.
They make that almost a character trait of her.
And she's pregnant.
Yeah, but they don't talk about much of any of the other pregnancy symptoms other than
She threw up in an urn, and her back hurts all the time. And
She
her
threw
feet
up in
hurts all
an
the time.
urn because she's like, okay, let's see how fast I can drink this slushy.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
it was before it was like before
right before
like,
she got mega pregnant.
yeah.
Mega pregnant.
That
No,
was just a thing
no. It
because-
was morning sickness, you dummies. That's why it was alluding. She had been pregnant for multiple months.
No,
you
she
dumbasses.
drank it real fast.
No, she didn't. You're
drank
wrong.
It real fast.
You're wrong.
Okay, in the comments.
Listen, that's
the
what you
comments.
think.
In the
but
comments.
the point is,
No,
you're supposed
it's
to
what I
come to the
know.
realization
No, it's-
that it was her morning sickness because she didn't
She-
know she was
she
pregnant.
drank it.
She was already in her first trimester, like through her first trimester when she
okay,
found out she was
so
She
pregnant.
was 2 months in. I'll give you that. Like
But
it could
she
have been
drank
morning
it.
sickness.
She drank it way too fast. She
Yeah.
even admits, like, "Oh, I downed this slushy in like 10 minutes," and then you see them going to the penny saver in the movie, and they're not downing the slushy; they're drinking it like normally.
But
But
no,
she threw up in the urn because of the morning sickness.
I get that, and I'm
It's
not
so
saying
being
that
Had the
pregnant.
morning sickness. She threw up in the urn because she downed the slushy.
No.
Yes.
No, that's what she thought, but that turns out not to be true. That's the whole point of the scene.
No, I'm pretty sure she just decided, like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna." Down
You're
the
right. You're
slushy."
right. They decided that they're gonna make their female character just throw up a slushie in an urn because of LOLs.
I'm not saying that it wasn't morning sickness in
I've
that's
chugged something.
That's a good reason for it.
She would have been
At the time.
pregnant. She was pregnant.
It's still a lot.
She didn't know she was
Dude,
pregnant.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Like, she's small and that thing is huge. She drinks it real fast. Chances are she's gonna throw
And then
up.
on top of that,
I know, but the point, you know what?
No,
It doesn't
As far
matter.
as from a
Listen, and then on
cinematography
top of
standpoint,
that-
Like, no, I get
Okay.
it. Wait, I think she
Franny.
gets. I think she gets pregnancy sick like later, not during that. I think she just straight up.
hold.
I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, Franny, speak, please.
Yes, she chugged the slushy, but yes, she was pregnant and didn't know it, so she thought
That's
she was getting sick from chugging the slushy and she was probably having cravings on top of being pregnant, on top of morning sickness.
No.
That's why she got sick.
And that's my take on that. Yeah, my take on that. It was
It's a
probably
mix
morning
of
sickness.
things.
Like that was. If I was reading the script, that's probably what they were trying to get across at that point. But I'm saying that there's a lot like.
But
right
also,
now,
it's so funny that she puked in her stepmom's.
Yeah.
own
Yeah,
thing.
and-
That
and-
makes
But
And
right
like-
now,
makes me
my
happy.
stepsister, or Jesus fuck, not my stepsister, my full-blooded sister, my big sister is pregnant right now, and that's
Wait, is she okay with us saying that on the internet? I don't know. Is she cool with that? I'm just making sure.
I'm not saying her name. I'm not saying the baby's name. I'm not saying, she's about to pop. So people know that she is pregnant.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I'm trying to be respectful,
This
that's
isn't
all.
breaking fucking news right now.
Okay,
No.
good.
But
Just throw breaking news. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do it. I'm just joking.
my sister is pregnant right now, and she's telling me about like some of the shit that she's dealing with while being pregnant, and like the hunger is one of the lower things on her list.
But it's
And-
a
and
one
she's
to
talking
one
about-
pregnancy, dude. There's so many other pregnancies
I'm
out there.
saying, I'm just saying that the only.
Zane.
Okay, what's up?
Franny, speak.
Everybody's unique. Let's
I
move
get
on and stop.
Everyone's
No.
a star.
I was asked my critique on the film, and I just feel like
No,
they could
we
have
know.
talked
Let's
about
move on
more.
and stop talking about
But
the
let's-
female
but-
experience.
I
But we
would
had
like
to
to
go on
hear-
this run. I mean, this was too interesting to miss out on. Your critique with
I'm
the
not
film was
saying
that
that she
pregnant
shouldn't
bitches were
fucking
eating
eat.
too much.
Boys,
Bruh,
boys,
I'm not
boys,
fucking.
boys.
I'm not saying that she shouldn't fucking eat. That is not my complaint.
Boys.
My complaint is not that she's eating a lot. My complaint is that that is the only symptom that they go that
No.
hard on.
Well,
they will
Let's
lightly
just-
touch on like
let's
one or
just-
two
let's just
things,
take a deep
but
breath.
the
Well-
only thing they fucking talk about
just take a
is
deep
eating.
breath.
Well, hey,
Let's just-
like.
Stop.
Hold
She
on,
fr-
everybody
she
one at
just
a time.
drank-
Landon, your turn. Go.
Dude, she just drank it too fast and puked.
Bruh, you're still on there.
Oh my god.
well,
Okay,
yeah.
everybody.
I didn't get off it because I wasn't satisfied with how the conversation ended.
Oh my god.
With you being wrong.
Oh my god.
No.
They need the last word on the female experience of being pregnant.
I don't.
too,
Here's my
actually.
take on this whole thing. Okay, I think Zane said what he was trying to say wrong. So let me try to put it into a different parlance. He thought that there should have been more emphasis on the other struggles of pregnancy, right?
Yes.
How about you just say that?
I said.
Yeah, he was pretty clear about that, homie.
I said the only thing that it felt like that kept harping on was just her
Is
eating.
this
I know,
about
but
And
it's
Juno
like
anymore?
there's so many
But that's
more.
the point, right? You keep saying like, don't say the eating part's the problem because it isn't.
I just
That's
wish they would
actually
have
a part
talked
of the
about more
solution.
things. Is what? Okay.
This is a comedy
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Let's
okay.
just-
We're gonna make fun of these opinions, and when you start out the top, like I think this pregnant lady was eating too much, I'm gonna have a fucking thing to say about it. Okay, all right. So don't get your fucking.
Those big slushies were huge, man.
Bro, I swear to fucking Christ.
I puked it.
I'm gonna mute this man's microphone.
To
like,
be honest
bro,
with you, he's starting to convince. He's saying it so much through osmosis. I'm starting to believe him.
I fucking hate this.
It's just like it's on a chemical level. I'm
I
like,
thought-
did she just drink too much? She
I
did.
thought that Polly Bleeker could have had more screen time.
Agreed.
Yeah.
100% could have had more screen time.
Yeah, just in general, like he was like their relationship was
I
so
would've loved
paramount
that-
to the movie.
I would have loved to see like a fight between two people like fighting over Juno.
I wanted another song. I wanted them to establish that they played music together at the beginning of the film. That way, when there's reconnection happens, that song isn't as, you know,
It felt
it
like a
would've been
weird
nice.
thing that just happened.
It sort of is just
for
like
2 minutes at the end.
my pockets are filled with sunflower seeds, and I'm just, you know, like it just felt a little kind of hipstery
It was
to
so
me at the
cute.
end.
It
It
was so
was
cute.
cute, but I wish it would have been pre-established so we could have accepted it.
Yeah.
So that was my issue
Yeah.
with it. And Paulie
Just
Bleeker,
gotten
that's
more
the other.
time
You're
with them
dead on with
together,
that.
too.
Paulie Bleeker was left out of the movie too much, and who knows? Maybe I would have grown to hate him more and that's fine because that's what a movie should. I mean, if that's the kind of response they want out of me, that's what they did. I feel like.
But also, fuck him. The movie's not about him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's such a good point to come back
It
around
ain't his
to.
experience.
But I do wish we would have seen a little bit more.
I mean, I would have liked to see them together more.
Like that
kind of
scene at the
establish
mall.
that relationship.
That scene at the mall where
Like,
what's her name? Jennifer Gardner's like touching her stomach. Like that was like, if you take the music out of that scene and put up the scene out of context, she sort of comes off like a serial killer to some extent, in my opinion. Like I think
she's trying
that's
to connect.
no, I get it, and like it's a sweet scene.
Yeah.
But it was highly unnecessary. We knew how into the baby she was. Replace that with a Polly Bleecker scene, maybe. Or
Oh,
just
so
Yeah. Show him giving a
cut
fuck.
out another woman in
Show
this
him
movie?
giving a fuck.
That's what you want to do.
because the scene sucked, bro, and it made her look like a weirdo.
Well,
She was playing with
also,
stray.
that's
She was playing with
also-
stray kids in the mall
I'm
that didn't
looking
even know
at
her.
the two women off
Those are her
camera
friends
saying that
and their
that
kids.
that scene didn't
Okay.
work. The two women, Franny, what would you like to say about the emotional levels of that scene? Because I've got some.
I'm
I've
not
got a
saying,
hot
I'm
take
not
on that
saying there
scene.
was a bunch emotionally wrong with it. What I am saying is that what needed to be said in the film in this hour and 40 minutes about that character was done. So either keep that scene in and like there's too much Jennifer Gardner screen time. That's my opinion.
Not enough Jason Bateman either.
No, there's plenty of Jason
there's
Bateman in
plenty
this
of
movie.
Jason Bateman.
Dude, that
Well,
is
I
like.
should've-
Because Jennifer Gardner as a whole, as a character, has nothing to fucking do with Juno's play other than handing over the child.
Dude,
Okay.
well, but it's the whole reason that she
Okay.
wants to
She's
give
not-
that person.
she doesn't
Franny,
take his-
She selflessly decided to give it this child
She
long
doesn't
before
take-
that
No!
scene.
She
Franny,
doesn't take him seriously.
Franny, I want to hear.
What they should have done was show more of Bleecker giving a fuck. To like establish the fact
Yes.
that they're together after.
She didn't
you
dunk
know?
on me like you wanted.
But it's still got to do with the fact that fuck it, like the whole point, the whole reason
But I don't
that you
want too
were
much of
rooting
him.
for Vanessa is.
Are we still talking
like,
about this?
yeah.
I like.
Dude, like the idea of cutting out like a super emotional scene
I mean,
where
I
a
didn't
potential
say
new
I didn't
mom-
say to cut out that scene. I said we needed less time with her, and I didn't like that scene. I'm not saying that scene has to be on the cutting room floor. I'm saying from a perspective of like treating the character seriously, like a human being. You expect me to believe this full-grown
Bro,
adult?
Lacey's got producer Lacey, I think, has a hot take and
Just
wants
go
to
ahead.
get on
Just go ahead and
mic.
hand her the microphone. That's fine.
Producer Lacey, everyone, for the
Hi,
first time.
guys.
What's up, Lacey?
No,
L.
I think the Vanessa part where she's in the mall and she does fill the baby.
No.
I
The
think-
part where she's playing with the stray kids.
No, that was her friend's kids.
It doesn't
That's the
matter.
setup.
It's still weird. She's the
What do
only
you
adult
mean?
on
That's still
screen.
That's still
What do
the
you mean?
setup
How
for
is that
getting
weird?
her on
It's
screen.
weird. It's weird with how much
Weird.
time they
I
spend on the
don't-
scene
I don't
and
think
how
it's
little
weird.
things
I
are
would've
spent
loved-
other
yeah.
places.
It just shows that it's not weird for like you to play with like your friend's kids, but especially when she's like about to become a new mom.
Well,
like,
to
she
be
wants
fair,
to
in contrast with the
experience
scene,
this, but
it wasn't established who those kids were until after that scene. That should be pointed out too.
But the second point with her actually touching Juno, Vanessa's never going to be able to experience being pregnant herself. So I think it was very important to show that because like she feels, well, I can imagine gypped because she wanted to experience all of it, and potentially I would assume from her character that she wanted to be pregnant herself, and she can't. And just being able to like see the whole process and like be able to fill the baby, like that's something she'll never be able to experience. So I think it was important for her to like see Juno and like have these little like moments to like be like, wow, like she really wants to be a mom. And like I know there was other stuff on the scene, but I think that's so important because I don't know, maybe it's just
I don't
women.
even necessarily hate the idea of her touching a baby, right? I don't hate the idea of her touching Juno's stomach. We're talking about a random encounter in the fucking mall when this woman lives an hour away from Juno does. They're randomly
Yeah.
at the same mall together. She sees her playing with a random set of fucking kids she doesn't know. And then she gets approached by
I
her
think it's
randomly
just-
outside of an
I think
elevator.
it's just building her character.
I think-
But there
more.
could have been a better way to tell that story and something tighter.
I think that
Like,
was
she's
probably.
I
she's
feel
on
like
screen
that's-
so much, and Jennifer Garner's only other role in this movie is to yell at Jason Bateman and tell him to be less cool for people. I wish that there was more for her to do in the scenes that she was in, and as a result, I wish that mall scene happened in a different location.
I'm
Happened
okay with
somewhere
it.
more reasonable.
I'm okay.
that's-
I feel like that's
I would
realistic,
say-
but okay.
I would say
Producer
that's
Lacey's out.
probably I'd say that's probably my favorite scene with Vanessa in it.
I didn't realize that's what we were arguing about. No, I think it's a fine scene.
I think it's actually beautiful.
I think that it could have been done much better in a better context and a better setting for the story.
I'm like,
there's so many times where she's interacting with her and she's just the one who's getting in the way of her cool husband.
It's also Vanessa's story. It's
but
also Vanessa's story.
Yeah, it's also the time that the only time that Vanessa gets to interact with Juno when it's not in her
but
house.
But it didn't have to be. That's my
Wow.
point. That's my point. Listen, I understand in the construct of the film, the scene itself was beautiful.
Hey, buddy,
I'm telling you.
It's a comedy podcast. We're going to make fun of you.
I know. You didn't get me. I'm just... Okay. Zane, who directed this? You have no fucking idea.
That would be Jason Reitman.
Reitman. Genius. Anyway, my point is Jason Reitman...
Is it really Reitman?
It's pronounced Reitman. Jason Reitman could have made a better scene for this to exist in that didn't involve her dumbing around with her friend at the mall and suddenly running into somebody who lives an hour away from them. Why the fuck would she be there? That's my point. This scene did not have to exist, and that's okay for me to say that.
Sure.
It could have existed in any other context.
So what kind of scene would you have liked to see Bleecker do?
What kind of scene would I like to see Bleecker in?
If you got to add an extra Bleecker scene, what kind of scene would you have liked to see?
I would have liked to see a forced confrontation with his parents about it.
Yeah,
I would love to have seen him and his mom get into it about Juno and him.
Either him denying it, him having to confront it, whatever. Any sort of emotional distress, because he's pretty much walked through this pregnancy like nothing happened in his little gold shorts.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably what I would add. Just any sort of
him getting some consequences.
Yeah,
that's so.
And then I would remove the mall scene and put that somewhere more believable. Like just for me personally, I get that.
But then where else are they going to interact if she
I don't
lives
know,
in
her
her
house?
But in the house, there's always the Jason
And he doesn't
Bateman
have to be there because he clearly doesn't give a fuck. They could have written a scene where he bombed away and did something else. It's that easy.
I liked it. I liked the setting of it.
I'm not saying you can't like it. I didn't like it. That's
Franny,
fine.
What kind of Bleecker scene would you add?
And it's not that I don't like a woman being able to touch her own baby, and it's not that personal, guys. I just didn't like the setup.
You're getting very defensive.
I'm not.
It's a comedy
but you guys are basically saying that, and I have to tell the comments that they don't think I'm a baby-hating, woman-hating monster. I have to make this clear that I'm okay with that scene. I actually like it. I just wish it was set up differently entirely. Anyway, Franny, go ahead.
Logan, why don't you just tell everybody why you hate Jennifer Garner?
Yeah.
Honestly, because she's a shitty actress, but in this movie she was all right.
No, man, what's your beef?
What, dude? Did you see Elektra, bro? You'd have beef too.
What's your beef?
Elektra sucked balls. That was my beef. So it's not my beef with the scene.
What would you add for Bleecker?
I mean, yeah, I'd like to see him get some fucking consequences for his actions, or like show like him having a big emotional reaction about it. But I do like the fact that he never tried to pressure her one way or the other.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Well,
but I also think
he did say it was her fucking idea, which was bullshit.
Yeah,
you can't say that.
I think it's a fucking cuck move that he was like, okay, yeah, whatever you think is best.
That was an intense way to put that.
Dude,
I think that was a cuck move.
She was like, well, I think that like I'm gonna do this thing, and he was like, okay, that's your decision to make. And it's just like he like totally checked out.
Hold on.
She
Giving
came to
the
him
woman a
almost
decision is a cuck move?
No. She came to him
I'm not even trying to start
Time
That's
out.
That's insane, right?
Everybody, let's do some deep breaths.
That's insane.
No, I'm not saying that giving her the choice is a cuck move. I'm saying that the way that
maybe he just could have shown that he cares
he could have. He should have like shown any sort of care.
But since he didn't, that
Yeah,
means
I
he
get
likes
what
to
you're
watch
saying.
people have sex in front of him, right?
Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
The remake of Juno should be written from a cuck's perspective.
Stop.
You know, guys, let's just play the fucking game. This has been a shit show. We'll be right back. Hey folks, welcome to the game. This whole movie should have taken place in the mall. Juno trivia. Hit the button. Thank you. Now, thankfully, we have my lovely Franny here to read the questions. We're going to be asked Juno trivia one by one, and we're going to see who knows the most about that Sunny D slinging lass. Let's do it.
That's
Or that candy noose slinging person.
Did you just go new coke
Ju-
on me? What the fuck was that?
Yeah, that was. What about that flippity turbity turbity turbity? That didn't make any sense at all, buddy. Anyway, Franny, who are you asking the question to first?
Landon,
this question's for you.
3 men on the couch. Let's go.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What piece of furniture is the cause of Juno's pregnancy?
Chair.
You got one right. All right, Zane. Are you ready?
Let's go.
In what season does this story begin?
Autumn.
Good job. We are 2 for 2 so far.
You should hit the
All
other
right,
one if they get it
Logan.
wrong. Yeah. It's gonna be bad. I feel like I'm gonna get it wrong already, and it's gonna ruin all my credibility. Go ahead.
The movie opened with Juno's reflection of her first time. It was interrupted by a dog barking. What was the dog's name?
What the fuck? That's so scary.
Remember?
Oh, okay. Give me a
If you get
second.
the name, I feel like you'll remember. I'll give
Okay.
you a hard one accidentally.
That one's
dude,
so hard.
That's fucking rough.
All right. Give me a second. Okay, so Landon probably knows.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
All right, so how about this? If I don't get it right, Landon can come in for the steal because I feel like he might be able to do it.
I
I
can
want
give you a
to.
hint.
I
Is
know what
it-
it is.
Oh.
I know what it is.
But I won't
Is
give-
it? We'll just say, is it a boy or a girl? Give me a hint.
It's neutral.
It
Neutral?
could be either, yeah. It's
Okay.
a food item.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a food item. Okay. Is it taquito?
No.
It's a great name for a chihuahua, though, right?
No. Simple.
You had to play the whole thing. Come on.
Simpler.
Okay.
Simpler.
All right, go ahead,
did you
Landon.
say?
Think simple. Oh, it's a banana.
Yep, that's correct.
It's banana.
No point.
The dog's
no-
name is banana.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Jeez,
let's,
Landon
banana.
just stole
Shut
a
your
point.
freaking
let's
gob,
give Landon
okay?
2 points. Like, just give him
Okay.
another one because.
Jeez, banana. Shut
Okay.
your freaking gob, okay?
All right, Landon, this is your question.
All right.
It's too easy. What is the mascot of Juno's high school?
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus.
I feel like I had to give you a hard one after that. Make it fair.
Let's see. The chair was super easy.
The mascot of the high school.
I was trying to scale up, you know?
Is it an animal?
Yes.
Okay, it's an animal. Is it a bird?
When is
No.
it not an animal? Also,
Is it
this
weasel? Is it a rodent?
This isn't 20 questions. Answer the fucking question.
I
bro.
don't know.
Then guess. Let me I'll try.
Badger.
Eh.
Okay.
Let me try one. Is it the?
Wait. It's my steal.
It's anybody's
Yeah.
steal. But
It's
go ahead.
anybody's steal.
Okay.
He just definitely knew. That's why he got the steal last time. You definitely didn't.
Is it a wolf?
It's a dancing
Wait.
blank.
It's fine. What was it?
Dancing blank.
Yeah, I don't want to guess
it's
it
an
now.
animal.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of can steal it easier now.
Does
so
it
I don't wanna
fly?
Say it.
Say it. If you know it, say it.
Is it
I'll give
is
you the
it
point.
is it a dog? The dancing dogs?
No.
Okay, then I have no idea because I didn't really know and I just wanted to get it so you'd tell us the answer.
It's a dancing elk.
Dancing.
Man.
When the fuck is that even said in the movie?
I don't remember
I found
that
it
at
on trivia.
all.
Hey, it's trivia.
Bro.
Hey, man, we didn't know. We didn't
Yeah.
know.
All right, Zane.
What's up?
What does Juno's mother send her once a year as a present?
A cactus.
Good job.
That's such an easy one. Fuck you. There's
dude.
literally a point about it in the movie. Okay. Francine be like, what was Juno's fucking moon sign?
I'll just make
It's
up
a
a
rising
question.
asshole.
No, that one's too easy. Okay, what sport team is Polly on?
Oh, he's on cross country.
Ding ding.
Them fucking pork swords, dude. Flying like crazy.
All right, back to Landon. Who is not present at the birth?
Polly.
Correct. I feel like that's not that's a point we did not make. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
They
we're down
made a
to
point of
2
that.
questions left. One's a
Wait,
both
when
are
you say
pretty
they didn't make a
fucking
point of that
easy.
in the movie? They totally made a point
They
of that.
made a point of that in the movie.
He literally
I
ran
think-
from his event all the way to the hospital when he
Oh,
missed the
yeah,
birth.
and he still didn't make it. Yeah. No, we didn't talk
And
about
then
it.
he gets
as
up in
Yeah,
the
we
bed
didn't
like,
talk
Oh,
and then he
yeah.
gets up in the bed
There's
and
tons
he's
of
like,
shit we didn't
I'm
talk.
here
We
now.
argued
Yeah.
about the
He's
mole
like,
for
I'm
20
here now.
minutes.
He's like, I'm here now.
We argued about the mall and pregnant women for 20 minutes because
Yeah.
we decided to say one thing each of us didn't like about the movie.
Just a bunch of dudes on a couch fucking talking shit about pregnant women.
Anyway,
Oh my God.
Love it.
Wow, if I
Is
didn't know
it-
any better, I would think I was in the Capitol.
Bruh, fucking rough.
Anyway, who's the question to now?
That's
How many more questions are there? Who's
There's
leading?
only 2, and they're
All right,
really bad.
who's leading?
They're
who's
so
leading?
easy. They're
Who's-
giveaway
who's-
ones.
Who's leading? Who's leading?
Landon.
because he got
3
that
points.
steal.
By how much?
He's got 3. Zane has 2. Logie, you have 1.
I only have 1. That's so
point.
sad.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm out. Just count me out.
Okay.
Okay, what's up?
Yeah, this is fine.
So hit me with one.
So how about
to
you-
see if I can get?
This one would have to literally be a speed run. Like, it'd have
Okay,
to be
well
the
then go
fastest.
find a difficult question
Okay.
or
Okay, we'll be
conjure
right
one.
back.
Wait, hit me with
We're not
hit me
gonna
with a
pause
question to
now.
see if I can even.
I tried to make a pause. Hold on. Just trying to buy myself some time.
Well, there's one of each question. If they're softball questions, ask both each one. Then it'll be
well,
even
Yeah.
if they're softball.
It's just an easy one then.
So
Okay.
then go ahead and ask Zane.
Zane, who keeps the baby?
Vanessa.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yay.
Are you fucking kidding me? You should. That's not even a question. We just talked about it for hours. It's the plot of the movie. Fuck that.
Hit me with another.
No, you guys are tied.
No,
It's
we're tied.
No, it's Landon's to win. Landon, the last question goes to you.
Oh, you're gonna be so mad when you hear this
Bro,
question.
That's the question.
if you ask us a dancing elk question and not these, like what the fuck?
Listen, I just got clowned on for talking about pregnant women in a mall. If you looked up a dumb question, you're reading it on this fucking show.
Why is
Nah.
Juno drinking Sunny Delight at the start of the movie?
Bro.
Juno is depicted drinking Sunny D in the beginning of the movie because she is in disbelief that she is pregnant, so she keeps repeating the same pregnancy test over and over again, and the Sunny D acts as a quick catalyst for urination.
You win.
Ding, 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 ding.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. My TED Talk.
Okay, guys.
My university TED
Fucking
Talk.
Christ.
I've had enough.
University of Cincinnati TEDx.
So, if you liked what you heard here, or if you have opinions that are contrary to ours, and if you hated the mall scene or loved the mall scene or hated that pregnant women ate or didn't eat in Juno, please leave your opinion down in the comments below and let us know what movie you want us to talk about next. Also, guys, make sure to subscribe, share it with your friends, tell people that we're out there. We're available on audio if you want to check us out on Spotify. That's incredible. Also, I just want to thank my boy Landon, who does our incredible music here, who is passionate about this movie and brought that passion here and had such a fucking awesome take and was so funny, and we appreciated every second. Please go follow him wherever.
Yeah, man, it was a real pleasure, and just for the audience, just so they understand, like Logan's been working on this podcast for many years now, and I've been a part of every project along the way, and he's doing the thing. He's doing the thing. He's like the James Brown of podcasting, man. He's like the James Brown of podcasting.
I'll get you addicted. No, I'm just kidding.
He's the hardest.
I'm
He's
kidding,
the
I'm
hardest.
kidding. I
He's
won't-
the hardest working man in podcasting.
Thank you.
He
I appreciate
feels
that.
good.
I
He
appreciate
looks
that.
good. He smells good.
Sometimes.
Makes love
Sometimes.
good.
You have the perfect opportunity to say sometimes.
Sometimes.
You waited too long.
No
if I have to
I'm
say
just
it,
kidding.
no comment. That's even worse.
Kidding!
You know what? I'm gonna leave you at a mall. Anyway, I'm trying any
Fair
way to
enough.
involve this mall thing. And Zane. Also, you can follow Zane. He's always on the channel. Sometimes we have guests like Landon and Franny, and
I
other
am
times
more
we
than
have
just
other
a guest.
guests. You are, of course, you're more. All of our guests are more than guests. That's one of my best friends right there on the couch.
Yeah,
There's
it's
my-
definitely an upgrade from previous podcast.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, thousands, hundreds, tens of thousands of views. Like that doesn't matter. Landon's here. This is the pinnacle.
Yeah, bro.
We're
yeah, bro.
3 white straight dudes talking about Juno. Welcome.
Yeah.
This is
Welcome
to
this is
film
an
criticism and
this is an
entertainment.
Who I
A.
tried to
This is-
wrangle.
Guys,
who I
I'm
really tried
done.
to wrangle.
Follow me.
Hey,
But
Landon.
as you can tell, they're very loud.
Follow me. Follow Franny. Follow Zane. Follow Landon. We love you guys so much. Subscribe. Peace out, gangsters. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Fucking chaos.